We'd love to hear from you, your questions, your ideas. There is a microphone there. We've got about 10 minutes. If there's any questions or thoughts from you, we'd love to hear them.
These guys will regret that in just 1 minute. Vegan Gains just recently went to the Toronto VegFest, but not as a speaker. That's not what our buddy Vegan Gains does. Instead, with the mission to destroy the hypocrites of the party. This all started, I think, when Vegan Gains was scheduled to speak at the event, but his speech was cancelled in the last minute because of random claims. Now this footage that Richard uploaded on his channel looks like straight out of a video game. I mean, just look at this turn.
Hi, so I believe you're...
Anyway, the first time I've seen this video, I actually thought, what the f***, Richard? Why would you do this? But the second and third time I've watched it, I realized that Rich has actually a very valid point. Today I want to give you the 2 cents about this incident as a person that has worked with Richard in the past and will likely do so in the future. Let's look at the scenes next.
Hi, so I believe your name is Steph, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I think the point you brought up about intersectionality was kind of interesting, especially since you're vegetarian, not vegan, correct?
I am.
Okay, so if you, like you did just mention that we should treat animals the way we treat each other. So would you rape, murder, and exploit other people? Like the way you support the rape, murder, and exploitation of cows and chickens?
Let's just take 1 second out to appreciate how much guts it takes to do this. I mean, I would never do this. I would probably be the type with sunglasses on the left corner that you see on the screen.
So would you rape, murder, and exploit other people? Like the way you support the rape, murder, and exploitation of cows and chickens?
One of the reasons I would not do this, because I'm rather high in agreeableness. Like, this is a psychological trait. This is like a personality trait. You can either be high or low in agreeableness. What this means, I like people and I want people to like me. Richard, on the other hand, is quite the opposite. Richard is the type that takes no prisoners. If you Richard will tell you that you suck. I mean, we've seen this with the legendary series, The Worst of the Fitness Industry, and also with just him recently calling out John Venus about not wanting to be labeled a vegan anymore. Just bear this fact in mind. I just want to point out one psychological phenomena that we've seen at this scene right here. If you want to know who the leader is in a group, watch what people do when uncertainty arises. See, all of the board members look at the guy in the middle after Vegan Gains asked the question. Although the question was posed to another person of the group, which means that most likely he's the leader of the group.
I don't think that's a helpful question.
Now, if I would have the guts to call a person out in front of a crowd, I would probably respond with, yes, I just want to point that out, thanks. But not so Vegan Gains.
No, it is. No, it absolutely is. So this is a vegan event, correct?
What we're trying to achieve with this
event. What we're trying to achieve with this event is to promote veganism, correct?
Vegan Gains is not only not accepting the authority of the other person, but is turning the discussion in his favor. Why do I know this? You see, Richard asked correct twice. Correct? Now he doesn't say this to seek approval, but he says this to control the discussion.
Well, no, what we're trying to achieve with this event is to promote veganism, correct?
Remember guys, in every discussion, the person that asks the question is the person in control.
Not exploitation of animals, so one of your organizers here supports the exploitation of animals, and especially since she believes in intersectionality, I think it's extraordinarily hypocritical for her to claim that, oh well, it's wrong to, rape, objectify, and all this stuff, but you are in fact supporting rape, exploitation, murder with your food choice.
The first time I heard this, I thought like, come on dude, she's vegetarian. She's still doing way more than people on this planet to alleviate animal suffering. But the second and third time I've watched this, I realized that her behavior is indeed hypocritical. And Vegan Gains has a valid point. I mean, she sits on a board of an event with the goal to eliminate animal suffering. And the fact that she's a proponent of intersexuality just adds to the hypocrisy.
We've heard your point. We appreciate your point.
Agreeable Florian would be like, okay then, thank you for hearing me out. But not so Vegan Gains.
Well, no. I'd actually like her to actually respond to the question, because I think I do have a valid point.
Classic Richard. Classic Richard.
Sure. So like I mentioned, the TVA as an organization tries to meet people wherever they are in their journey. So whether...
How many years have you been vegetarian?
5.
Richard is asking, how many years have you been vegetarian? See the tactic again? He's controlling the discussion.
Okay, so in those 5 years you haven't figured out how to give up milk and eggs.
Honestly, I mean, Richard has a good point here. The hard part is not going from vegetarian to vegan. The hard part is like going from eating animals to vegetarian. So the real reason why that woman is not vegan, unless she has some autoimmune diseases that I've not heard of, is because she doesn't see a reason to become vegan.
So we like to meet people wherever they
Okay,
are
so
in
in
their
those
journey.
5, okay, so in those 5
Yes,
no,
not.
in those
Yeah,
5 years.
Richard, please no more questions. Richard, please get off. This would be the point where Agreeable Florian would be like, sorry guys, I didn't know what just came over me in the last 2 minutes. I mean, have a nice day and thanks for what you do. But not so Richard.
So, right, so in those 5 years you haven't discovered how to not include milk and eggs in your diet. You haven't discovered how to just eat soy milk and not eat eggs and like make tofu scrambled.
Man, he has a valid point though.
We're all asked. We've heard your point. Thank you for your point. We're asking you to sit down now, please.
This is the moment now where everyone would sit down. Am I right? Am I right, Richard? Nope.
Okay, well, she hasn't answered the question. Why do you support the
Responding
unnecessary...
to your question.
No, she didn't. No, she
That's
didn't. She just said she was at a certain
your
point in her
clients.
journey. No, she just said she was at a certain point in her journey, and I'm asking her, after 5 years of being vegetarian, why is it that you have not been able to discover how to not unnecessarily harm, exploit, rape, murder cows and chickens?
Now here comes the employee of the month, ladies and gentlemen.
I appreciate where you are in your journey, and I think everybody's at a different...
Let's watch that authority figure again.
I appreciate where you are in your journey, and I think everybody's at a different...
Freeze! Employee of the month, ladies and gentlemen.
Awesome, he slowly builds up tension with his hands and then says, please stop asking more questions. Oh man. Yeah, I'm sure this will work, champ. I mean, what can go wrong?
Sorry, you've been vegetarian for 5 years.
Please.
The agreeable community is trying to get rid of Richard again. Just remember at this point that Vegan Gains is like 6'3" and built like a machine. It's kinda hard to get rid of such an animal.
Well, what do you mean? I'm actually trying to understand why you think it is okay to unnecessarily cause the rape, murder, and exploitation of chickens.
I don't know that
and
I'm going to
cows.
be able to give you an answer that you're going to accept, so I think the conversation between us...
Well, what do you mean an answer that I'll accept? Just give me an answer.
And this whole scene also reminds me of the young Sheldon scene.
Oh, here we go.
Yes, Sheldon.
You said he didn't create the sun until day 4.
Yeah,
So how could there be light the first 3 days?
God is light.
So God's a photon.
God's what made photons possible.
And what day did he do that?
I would think day 1.
So before the Big Bang.
There was no Big Bang. There was only the Word.
Was the word kaboom?
Do you have any? Yeah. Do you have?
Yes,
Okay.
the
So do you
question
have?
over
No. Do you have an?
Richard,
do you have an
please
actual
yield
excuse?
the mic to
No.
somebody
Do you
else.
have? Do you have a reasonable exploitation for unnecessary? Okay.
I'm sorry, I just don't think that it's going to be very effective.
So as the battle continues, the organizers decided to turn off the microphone of Vegan Gains. This would be the time I would be like, sorry guys, whoa, I've been going way too far in the last minutes. Can I buy you guys a drink? In fact, can I buy the entire room here a drink? But not so Richard.
You're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. You're a moral hypocrite. You have no reason. No, you have no reason. You have no reason to cause the unnecessary suffering, death, exploitation of animals.
They try to get rid of Richard now by asking for another person to pose a question. The funny thing is the guy doesn't know, should I just ask or should I give the microphone back? I mean, no one really knows what to do at this point. Unless the guy with the sunglasses in the left corner. That would be me, yep.
No, no, you're pathetic.
Now the guy finally decided to ask a question. This would be overkill for QG at this point. But is this enough for Richard? No, fam.
No, guess what? No, guess what? Guess what? Guess what? The animals that you cause the unnecessary death, suffering, exploitation of, they have no choice. They cannot run away from what you do to them. You are pathetic. You are running away from what I'm asking you.
Long story short, the security guard shows up and Rich finally decides to let go of his prey.
Especially since you talk about intersectionality. You're pathetic.
So the question was about
Now, as he walked back, have you seen that crucial scene? Have you seen that crucial scene? The guy with the sunglasses snacked on some nuts during the scene.
So the question was about
I mean, he really enjoyed the show. So anyway, this was Vegan Gains destroying the Toronto VegFest. Now, do I think this is effective activism? I'm not really sure. But do I think Vegan Gains' judgment or Vegan Gains exposing her was hard but to some degree true? Yes, after watching this video multiple times, I have to agree with key points of the argument. Now, should you call out vegetarians that are close to you or in your daily life? I don't think so actually. I mean, they're still doing more than 90% of people on this planet. But I think if you're sitting on a board of an event which goal is to eliminate animal suffering by promoting veganism, I think you should choose to ditch the eggs and the milk, especially if you're a proponent of intersexuality. But I guess that's just me. The mission of this YouTube channel is to put veganism across the goal line. If you want to help us achieve that, like and subscribe to this channel and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Let's make food production great again.